bit, Kenny Sizemore is getting out of the car. He is actually backing out of the car through the top roll hoop and carefully being secured to a backboard. Kenny Sizemore very gingerly is getting out of that car as his sons and friends watch the extraction process, but Kenny is getting out of the car. Again, we mentioned this is the second hard figure-8 shot that Kenny Sizemore has taken in the Indianapolis Speedrome this season. The second time that he's needed assistance to get out of an automobile. The first time was a crossover crash at the other end of the racetrack. It happened right over here near the start-finish line of the figure-8 course. Comparably priced Speedrome event.
Over 11, you are free to go down into the pit area of the Flat Rock Speedway. You'll have a chance to visit Rich Fenwick and all of the other brave and great drivers of the General Tire Challenge Touring Series.
The number 66 of Canal for the lead. Run wheel to wheel through 3 and 4. Canal led that lap by inches. Bono spins in front of the leaders. Where will they go? Oh, Canal speared Bono. Paquette takes the lead. Second place to McFadden. Number 2. If that's the case, now Prime and the number 37 of Wobbler and the 66 of Cano will go for a spin. Here comes Ernie McFadden. 10. Outside challenge for the lead by the number 26 of Morris. That car pushes through the second turn. That allows 2 cars have crashed in turn number 2. The number 62 car of Small and the number 53 of Foster, they both restart, but the number 62 of Small missed the mark for tire. He just put himself a lap down. This is the second position and challenges Lindenberg on the outside and comes up short. Schaefer spins in number 3, collects Morris and Perry. Somehow they keep on going, but challenging and passing Byard, who had the lead 1 lap ago. Now he's back to 4th place down. Oh, trouble! Lewis spins and hits the wall hard to the driver's side, going into turn number 1. Not sure what happened there. The announcer was a bit of assistance after taking that hard ride into the unyielding Indianapolis Speedrome concrete. He's pretty much okay. He took a hard ride that tore off the rear bumper of that car. The car may be a mess, but the driver is pretty much okay. Into the infield to finish this first lap. Cadal, now there's Schaefer in 12th, coming from about 6th place to lead. Second place, and Cadal and the number 45 machine of Burkhead go into the concrete, taking with them the number 21 of Brooks. Let's see if these guys who are involved in this wreck can go any further. The answer is no. Canal, an unhappy man, takes his steering wheel off, and Canal will have a bit of a protest against the way things turned out. He is a little upset about what happened, but there are some people that are just naturally upset after they wreck. Canal gives a standing ovation to Jim Burkhead for his driving. Frost to go wide. Frost gets around the line just barely in time to win the race. Here's leads in second. Long finishes. No spin, but spins right ahead onto McDougal, and Long gets the last transfer spot to the main event. Oh, it happened right at the marker. Long spun, and it looked as if, oh, watch out. There's Smith taking a run at Long, and Long's trying to run away. They're trying to redo the demolition derby. Smith's unhappy. Long's trying to stay out of his way. Long is running away. Smith is trying to take a run at him, and the brave Indianapolis Speedrome track workers boxing in Smith, keeping him from taking a run at Long. Show the green as there was a quick spin. Everybody else is still going. Watch out, collision between Thompson and Lewis almost takes both cars to the wall. St. John and the number 11 of McMurtry almost get tied up in that, but St. John dropped back about 10 spots as a result. And the number 19 of Larry Harris gets restarted after his separate confrontation. The number 10 of Adele has the lead. Trouble as 3 cars crash on the main stretch. Taylor and the number 56 of Nelson and the 51 of Norman all got together coming out of the 4th turn, took each other into the wall, and we go to red. And we've got a very unhappy Mike Nelson in the number 56, who has already thrown his steering wheel out of the car and takes a very cold look, an angry look at Tim Taylor. Taylor drives away. Nelson threw his helmet at Taylor and scored a direct hit. Now he's trying to go after Taylor again, and our track official convinces Nelson that's not the right thing to do. For one thing, when you throw your helmet like that, it's not only bad manners, but it can get to be fairly expensive. You see, those helmets are designed to take only one impact on it. Trying to pull even with Turner as they come to the white flag. Turner almost put Dawsey into the wall as they came to the white flag. Dawsey's on Turner's tail, knocks him out of the second corner, but Turner stays there. Dawsey will try the outside line one more time, but Turner will stay there, pushed across the line, winning by a lane. Third place will be Ford. Fourth place, Smith, number 72. In third place is Graham in 48, sliding out of the 4th turn, crashing into the wall. Head on is the number 23 of McFadden, who crashed by widely after almost hitting the wall several times. We'll go to red. We'll go to red because Ernie McFadden splattered his car all over the fourth turn wall. From the start of the race, Ernie McFadden. A disappointed Keith McKinney will now drive off the racetrack. 26 of Morris for 7th place. In the meantime, Rivalry is trying to run away. Oh, the car of Morris almost put the 44 Bussy into the wall, and the number 98 Murphy spins out. He has a flat tire on the left rear. He'll be storming out of the race shortly.
His fourth stock feature. Victor Rival comes home to receive congratulations from family, crew. Victor, big
of the lead lap, up by inches, and almost crashes out of the intersection again as the 99 of Donnie Garrigus goes full wild rod. Just the number 3 of Wayne Lee. At the intersection, crash between the 20 of Boyd Butcher and the number 39 of Amos. Amos was running on the lead lap. Now Butcher is entirely out of it as well. Both cars are smashed as they hit at the intersection with 5 laps left to go. Robert Amos sees there's trouble and he'll get out of his car. He makes an obscene gesture to Boyd Butcher, and because there was a driver out of his car on the racetrack, we go to red. Because there's a driver out of his race car during live running, we go to red as Robert Amos has a frustrated gesture at Boyd Butcher, looks at Boyd Butcher, and now walks away.
Greatest figure 8 driver of all time was. I watched a guy, I had snot running down my nose. I watched him. He taught my brother Kenny. He taught Wayne Arnold. And they all taught Mike St. John. There he is.
Trying to get back to first place. Almost wheel to wheel. Hard on the throttle. They're catching up to that 4-car battle for the lead. Murphy spins the car in turn number 2. The second and third place cars almost taken out by the flying number 59 of Pride. Crossing through, but 95 is way past the traffic. And Keith St. John in the back has 2 cars to line right in front of St. John. And the points leader is lucky to get around them. The lead goes on the track. Now it's for the the collision confrontation with Danny Turner. Number 41 of Buddy Marcy is spinning. Number 14 of Jerry Ward is standing out there in confrontation at the intersection. And we show the red flag. As Ward comes to the intersection, Charlie Reed is still in the intersection. And out back on the junior by Scott Fox. One turn is thrown in by the 66 of Curtis Murphy. And his hard also about big jump around Turpin along with Bilbrey, and Turpin is almost helped into the wall, and there's Bilbrey sliding his car to the infield, missing the marker tire, and oh, watch out, the 70 car gets hit and spun out on the backstretch. The number 70 of Rival got hit and spun by the number 66 of Cano. He's in the lead. Now to the inside in third place is Rogers in 96. Lamb is sideways, almost fence in front of the second pack, and Lamb puts Rogers hard to the wall coming out of turn number 2. Lamb keeps on going, but the number 28 car of Rice is smashed hard into the concrete out of the fourth turn. Second, a factor on the final lap of stock heat race number 5. There is the 38 of Graham all over the 99 car, hitting him and knocking him out of the way. That allows Lewis to try to come to the outside to make a challenge for the lead out of turn number 4. They storm to the line, and it's a half length between winner Graham and second place Lewis with the number 59 of Pride. Dalton tried to play the game. He hit Teddy, almost wrecked it. Teddy can't hold it. He spins out in the first turn of the first lap of the race. Dalton comes away with the lead. Second place is the number 8 of Kenny Sizemore. Third place is the number 10 of Adele. And McFadden's car is parked right in the middle of the area, but there's still enough room for reasonable drivers to get on through. There's Foster getting hit
taking out 4 other cars, including McFadden. Foster took out Kafori, Frost, and Rice, and that moved McFadden's car far enough out of the way that we can continue to race safely. They'll have to pass the unpredictable marker. Foster goes high, inside move by George, working him, running him to the line. Oh, it was George winning by a length over Foster, who crashed. In third place was Bodos. Lap number 16, working the 17th lap of the race. It's the number 38 of Graham up in front. He is putting the Fegley 94 lap down. Fegley is tagged and spun out by the 65 of Higgins. And now Bodos almost up to number 44 of Bussey into the wall. Those cars flying to a halt as Bussey shoves Bodos out of the way. Those cars are stalled at the moment. And he's seeing a Bussey in 44. And Bodos at number 97 can get going. Watch out, Byers ran into the stop car of Bussey, who in turn hit Bodos and stalled the number 85 of Fegley. And will go to red.
Well, I love racing. That's all I ever want to do. So, like I said, as many people that I can help, we jump in. These guys jump in anytime anyone needs help. So, this isn't a selfish sport. You know, it's for everybody.
All right. Place to Wainer at the number 16 as the number 51 of Norman goes a lap down. Third place. Watch out, the 21 of Bobby Dowden was hit by the number 30 of Bussey and put it to the wall, collecting the 24 of Ford and the number 6 of Bill Tenney Jr. and losing a tire, not a wheel but a tire, is the number 12 of Robbie Fry as we go to red. Wild action in turn number 3. I believe it was Joe Bussey, the number 30, that got into the number 21 of Bobby Dalton, upsetting that car just enough so he got into the wall, collecting the number 24 Ford, the number 6 of Bill Tenney Jr., and the number 10 of Gary Bedell. Into the number 10 of Gary Bedell, going another lap down in Bussey's car. Waiter's spin! He's number 1! Here comes the entire field, and he's hit by 200 cars, and 300 cars, 400 cars, plow into them. About half the field has crashed in turn number 1 and will go to red. On the lead lap. Ford does run on the lead lap. 3 abreast racing for second place. Finds the number 7 of George Sutton charging down to the inside of Darren Sizemore's machine as Bill Tenney Jr. makes a series of brave moves through the incredibly intense battle between the 87 of Turner. Watch out! The brand car made to collect the number 10 of Bedell, and they almost take out Charlie Reed in the intersection. That as the white flag comes out.
Dwayne, as we see Cecil Cars number 55 smoking again. Yep, Dwayne Lee cannot give. Oh, big crossover crash! Massive 3-car hit between the number 64 of Steve Reitner, the number 35 of Mike Hughes, and bringing into it the number 24 of Jerry Moore. A thundering crossover crash. Just under 23 minutes of racing remaining in this 1-hour figure 8 endurance race. The craft wrecker comes out again to do its job.
Number 4, and Edo Hines is going to hit the wall head on! Now he's trying to get it into reverse and complete this lap after wrecking. Hines hit the wall harder than Tom Griswold did. Now
Joe Harding may be out of the car. He's half out. A little crunch damage there, and it looks like Bob got the worst of it.
Disciplined effort. We need heavy pressure from the number 65 of Higgins at the end of the race, but Higgins was not able to make the pass for the lead. and Smith was in and out, back and forth of transfer. Outside to get the lead, gets a note down in front of Bowden. Bowden and both collide out of the fourth turn. They come to the white flag with Wolf in the lead. Bowden's back to second spot. Now Rackley is passed on the inside for third place by Whiteman, and Rackley runs into Whiteman and knocks him out of the way to get the transfer spot back. Fourth will win this one, almost crashes. Second place to Bowden, third place to Rackley. Then you'll have Chubb, Fox, Sloan, Ryborn, and number 84, Graham. Lamb and Johnson, that opening closed quickly, and Bussey is caught behind Lamb, who has the last transfer spot of the number 40. Lamb comes down and right into the path of the car of Johnson, who takes him out, and around them goes Bussey into third place as Lamb and 40 and Johnson and number 92 take each other out. Second place as the number 32 of Sloan is sliding into the infield. Leader was Johnson in 93. Second place Catron in 29. Third place is the number 20 of McFadden. They're flying to the inside, going for that last transfer spot as the 53 of Faulkner may have been helped into a spin by McKinney in 79. Race for the lead. Outside is the number 81 of Heiser. Then you'll have Van Meter, Whitaker, Butcher, Krimmel, and the 21 of Douthit. What's going on here between Butcher and Heiser? This is not a demolition derby. And the courageous move, watch out, they're still going after each other. They're trying to wreck each other big time. And our brave driver of the pace car is trying to get between them. Heiser's still in pursuit of Butcher, or they just finally going to the exit at about the same time. Number 6. Bussey sees Nelson there, tries to hold the car under control. They push to the outside wall. They almost touch as they finish lap number 6 of 10. Again, Nelson outside of the number 56. Bussey hits him into the wall and wrecks both of those cars. And Grant almost hits them. New leader is the number 29 of Curtis. Second place is the number 83 of Brown. Third place is the number 16 of Wainer. That we're going to have here. And again, you can see the same sort of insane flagpole racing tomorrow night at the Indianapolis Speedrome as part of WFBQ Fun Night. Early advantage is Donnie Kafori in 63. The second place is Gary Gross. Spinning out of third place in the number 50 is Huey Higgins. Look at this. Foster's car has viciously mounted the number 66 of Cano and taken out Spurgeon in 21. We've got as many cars stopped in turn 3 and 4. Green flag in the second attempt to start this contest. Watch out, the number 3063 car hits the wall. Sliding sideways was Donnie Kafori, number 63. Overcooked it going into the first turn and slammed the concrete. Can Kafori get the car to move? The answer is no. Now 2 other cars have crashed at the south end of the racetrack. The cars as he comes through, and he's almost hit by Graham. Graham spins the car, and as we come to the white flag, Long is batted by Foster. Long and Foster tie each other up, ram each other, neck each other big time. They're still ramming each other all over the racetrack, nailing each other all the way through turns number 1 and 2. But that's not a battle for position. Foster hit the wall on the back stretch, and now trouble for Graham. The right in front over some back debris and cut down a tire. Leader is the number 12 and Woodard. That one is Schaefer. Second place is Long in 14. There's Graham in third place, trying to circle the marker and get third. Comes across the line, hits the wall, and finishes in third place. As they hit each other here at the main stretch, there's Jerry Johnson, hit and put it to the wall by Lamb, and Johnson is hit by Sloan. Through all of this, the lead goes to number 48 of Chubb. Second place is Rivals. Sometimes you wonder if these guys aren't all colorblind. Well, they are all, with one exception, they are all men. Now, wait a minute. Watch out here. Keith McKinney in 79 is in pursuit of the number 86 of Sloan, and now it's the other Sloan going after McKinney. It's a 2-on-1 battle out here at the Indianapolis Speedrome under red. Okay, here come the Sloans. Have got McKinney double teamed in the infield. What happened, folks, was the number 79 of Keith McKinney and the number 86 of Don Sloan had it coming together and a disagreement on the racetrack, and McKinney really took some big-time runs at Don Sloan on the racetrack a couple of times. The problem is that every time McKinney took a run at Sloan, he missed. Missed by 10 feet or so. Well, finally the red flag came out, and McKinney figured, well, I'll make my statement here. He still couldn't catch up to Sloan. Then McKinney realized he was outnumbered 2-1, and he leaves the track. At the 99 of Barry White, and we're going to...
Ryan breaks out in front, and we're in a sprint race for a mile run. Casey Ryan is still out in front. At the second, bike number 11. Then Chad Fields in number
7 of Neal, finding Nelson caught in traffic. Nelson tries to knock the number 51 of Norman out of the way as Bussey drops out of the contest. And Norman almost takes out both the number 56 of Nelson. Now Norman restarts right in front of the 27 of Deal. Still trying to get around the car of Curtis. There's Deal using Curtis as a moving pick, going to the outside, trying to pass Nelson. Can't do it on that lap. Where will Curtis go? He's in the middle of the racetrack. Deal has Curtis right in front of Nelson. Now Curtis pulls in front of Deal. Deal is still trying to get around Curtis. Now Nelson has just enough room to get to the outside. No, he can't. Deal makes the outside move using Curtis as a pick. Now Nelson comes back down to the inside, repasses Deal as Curtis gets into Deal's way. Now Nelson down to the inside of Curtis, puts him a lap down. Deal follows him through as we come to the white flag with one car length between them. Now Deal is faced with the possibility of making the outside pass at turns number 1 and 2. Charges down the backstretch, looks to the inside, can't do it. Deal challenges on the high side, gets sideways and slips. Nelson will come across the line, winning by 1 length over Deal. Third in the fourth turn, almost passes the lead by Herrera as we finish lap number 3. Trouble as you see the number 81 of Jeff Heiser spin. He ran into the side of the number 15 of Darren Sizemore. Both of those cars still in the enemy. He is trying to rim ride as they are 3 abreast. Now trouble as the number 71 of Frost spins out of number 3. He'll get restarted in the fourth turn. He's almost 1 lap down. The number of the front row goes 1 lap down on the backstretch of lap number 12. And watch out, big crash on the main stretch. The number 44 of Bussey and the number 11 of Connor nailed each other as they came out of the fourth turn. Maybe Higgins involved in. Those cars have stuffed each other into the concrete big time. Bussey's trying to get his car backed out of the way. Nobody else is leading and will now get set to put out the red flag as we watch for the leading number 51 of George to come out of the fourth turn. May be dropping out of this race at any moment. Smith holds on to the advantage, and in second place is Prine in his best performance ever. Third place is the number 29 of Casher. Trouble Bob McFadden sideways out of the fourth turn. Spears, Gary Paquette, and the number 65 of Bob Higgins. There's an old NASCAR rule that says if you're going to crash into the points leader, you've got to hit the second place in points. Bob McFadden has followed that rule to the letter. It is a dirty word. It is a pejorative. It is an insult to mention the word George that has anything to do with sports. That is not the case in the Indianapolis Speedrome. For years and years, the George family has been racing out here at this track and has been winning races. Now David George comes to the Indianapolis Speedrome in a proven championship car that was driven to the May-June Stock Championship by Billy Smith, who served as the crew chief tonight. Short victory lap and a chance to celebrate and be interviewed by Al Stilley.
Again, another first-time winner from the George family has raced out here for years and years. David George is your 25-lap stock oval feature winner tonight.
Yeah, because Ronnie Klantz cannot get through the traffic. As you see cars spinning and sliding, Bill Tenney Jr. spins again, blocking the car. Kenny Sizemore is hit in the back by the number 76 of Scott Martin, breaking Martin's radiator and stalling both Sizemore and the others. Sizemore is stalled and can't move. No, now everybody will redrawing the race and will have no problem with the yellow or red flag. Mike Sand, new winner for the first times this year and for the second time in his career. It is a comeback for the driver in the number 80, the driver that put down the best the world had to offer in figure 8 racing. Ronnie Klantz, the winner. Cross country, oh no, it's going to be a big crash on the back. backstretch between the number 75 being driven by Wobbler and the 38 that's being driven by John Trent. Trent still can't see where he's going. He's going to drive right into the path of the leader as the 52 of Dawsey almost took out the number 5 of Kennison, taking his directions to the number 52, working down the backstretch. He gets hit and spun out. Let's see if he can get restarted again. Higgins as we work to lap number 3. Low side move by the number 32 of Sloan out of the 4th turn. Tries Lindenberg. Lindenberg slows the door in his face, but the number 32 of Sloan just spins him out. That allows the number 65 of Higgins to go to the outside, challenge for and take the lead as Lindenberg is knocked back to last place. Higgins tries to get around the number 60 of Spurgeon, can't do it. Sloan's final attack comes up a length short. 65. Bob Higgins wins the race. 32, Donnie Sloan in second, and Sloan runs into the back end of Higgins, who spins out after the race is over, and third place to capture it in the number 29. Higgins and Sloan have a bit too much fun for their own good there in the infield, and here's the way they'll line up for stock heat race number 3. Back on the outside of the 40, almost runs into Shelf, but Shelf goes to the inside. Wow, the number 13 of Long ran over the outside tires of Lamb when Lamb was pushed to the outside by Shelf. That sent Long's car into the air. He almost put it up on its rope. He went around Sigmund a second time, get a chance to roll, and will go to the green flag. Again, the top 3 to the main event. Sloan on the inside at 87. Sigmund slips on the outside of turn number 2. Sloan spins the car. He'll crash out the entire field. He takes out Rice, Smith, and Sigmund, and getting through into the lead as we finish lap number 1 is the 92 of Johnson, as we'll come down to a red flag and a complete restart. Corner of Smith's car, he puts on his own fireworks display as he drags that damaged suspension off the track and almost runs into Don Bullock. Sloan's car is smoking each other in turn number 3, but they crash into the parked car of Sloan and come down to red again. The number 28 of Robert Fox will come off the racetrack with a damaged car. Rice is still moving one way or the other. Sloan's totally disgusted. The number 38 car, the driver, Charles Graham, is unhappy about the way things going. Spins out of the chance to get the transfer spot. Fourth lead. Second place is Perry. He runs into Sigmund and almost spins him out. And Dirk Spigman runs into Shelf, who runs into Long. They all wreck each other around the marker. And now Shelf runs head on into the number 30 of Lamb. And now Shelf hits the wall head on. Let's see if Shelf can get the number 48 out of the way. Shelf backing so fast that he can't be passed by some of the cats. But here are the cats all ganging up on Tom Hines. Tom Hines has run down to the infield. Pointer puts the 9 car into the road and is passed by the number 2. And there's Tom Hines who spun out, and the rest will get back to the lead lap. Has now been passed by the number 29 of Catcher, putting 2 cars between himself and a chance to get back on the lead lap as we see Perry dropping out of the race in the number 18. Now cars running into each other over in turn number 3. Massive crash as the number 11 of John Connor bolted the number 72 of Rival and collected the number 65 of Higgins. The number 72 of Rival was already in trouble, was going sideways. Connor tried to take advantage of that and make an outside pass on Rival. Instead, Connor mounted Rival's car, flew through the air, and smashed the wall coming out of the second turn. Connor's out of his car. He's okay. And I think the roll cage will have protected Rybold from any damage as well. Rob Hunter, we have a message for you in the tower. Rob Hunter, Now here's an interesting charge over here to the start-finish line. We've got one Fegley talking to another. That's the driver that you've got the number 29 of Catron, but Catron is in the middle of that pack of cars that involves the 33 of Paul. Watch out, Pride and Bilbrey get together. Silbury is knocked into the wall. Klein keeps on going, but he's drawn back about 4 spots. To the outside because Paul Kent is already there. But now Bussey runs into the back end, and Paul Kent almost spins him out. Paul Kent loses the 2 spots that he had fought so hard to get. 32 slow to the 44 of Bussey. They're trying to make the pass. Bussey is hit and spun out by Paul Kent as we come to the white flag. Slow's the only driver with a chance to take the lead. Looks to the inside of Scott George on the backstretch. Takes the pass. Scott George runs it down into the infield. Slow retaliates, comes to the inside, and wins the race by 3 lengths over Scott George. What you're going to see here at the Indianapolis Speedrome in 1 month is a different type of racing than any that you'll see here tonight at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Being challenged, watch out as the Dusties and the Shapers wreck each other here in the main stretch. The Dusties are trying to go again. There's Thomasik and Wintersfoot into the lead, and now it's going to be a 6-car crash coming through turn number 3 as there goes Thomasik into the lead. Greg is in second place. The second place on the start. George leads to the number 51. Now we watch the middle of the pack to see if they can get through. The answer is no. The number 71 of Frost is turned sideways. Several cars stack up behind Frost as he tries to get out of the way. Everybody will keep on going, but several cars are out of it, including Frost, who's out of it with a flat tire. George spins out of the 4th turn. Paul Kent is dragging Frost's bumper as George drops out. The new leader of the race is the number 26 of Morris, as we see the 62 of Gaskins and the 65 of Higgins running into each other. Now Morris in the lead, spins out, and also out of it is the number 14 of Long, who has a flat tire and a broken front suspension part. He's going to try to keep on going, but Long's in big trouble. He's going to try to make a right turn. He gets hit and almost put to the wall as the number 96 of Rogers is almost also spun for 26 of Morris. Morris leads in 26. Second place is number 94 of Begley, runs into the number 84 of Shishulka. And a happy David Morris will receive the checkered flag, and he gets a chance for his victory interview with Al Stilley down to the start-finish line.
Being congratulated by David Bussey, and a very, very happy crew is coming out, and he's lifted up into the air, and we've got one happy winner and one heck of a celebration going here. Steve Pine out to congratulate you. This is the happiest winner we've had all season. He's worked hard all season, and everybody, the wife, I can't even talk. Thanks everybody, this is a good one for me. He did his talking on the track.
Between the number 10 of Bedell and the 21 of Dalton, and the confrontation takes place. Bedell gets hit and spun out a second time, and Bedell hits the number 48 of Rodney Smith and wrecks him. Again, Smith didn't have anything to do with it. Now Bedell looks like his car may be stalled there in the middle of the intersection. He gets to going again, stays on the tail end of the lead lap, and Dalton, is he in pursuit of Bedell or not? We're not sure. Working to lap number 17. This is the 17th lap of the race right now. We also notice that the starter, John Aldridge, has the red flag and will now display it as was displayed because the number 29 of Catron, number 29 of Rich Catron, hit the wall in turn number 3, broke the radiator, and stalled. Now, here is a confrontation between Bobby Dalton in 21 and the number 10 of Gary Bedell. There's a track official trying to get them apart. He's being beaten up by both of them as he tries to separate the combatants. And bravely stepping into the middle of it to try to separate them is the driver that also might have a reason to be angry, but isn't. There's Bobby Dalton throwing his helmet. By the way, Dalton missed the Indianapolis Speedrome and General Tire Challenge helmet throwing record. The helmet throwing record is about 60 feet. Dalton got no more than about 30 feet out of that one. That was not a very good attempt of helmet throwing there. Again, that circumstance between Dalton, who's dressed in the blue, and Bedell that's dressed in the pink and yellow and black, that came while those drivers were battling for the lead maybe 30 feet or so away from where they are standing. Remember Doug Gregg, who's come back from falling a few lanes back. Then you've got the 4 of Fenwick and the number 40 of Dawsey. Now Dwayne Lee tries the difficult outside pass on Tunney, who turns number 1 into the 22nd lap. They all will get into Ron Grant's 36 of the intersection. Lee had the advantage. Now inside move by Tunney, moving back to first place. Dwayne Lee had the lead for about 10 feet. Tunney takes the lead back and leads lap number 22 of 24 as these drivers race each other hard side by side and almost overwhelm the 22 of Thompson. Dwayne Lee comes to the lead. Tunney tries to bend it down to the inside. Lee slams the door to the number 9 of Basham. 6th place is the number 56 of Nelson, who hits Basham and spins him out, and also runs it almost back into the number 67 of Van Meter. Basham gets restarted. He's got a long way to go to get race. Tunney trying to put the number 2 of Charlie Reed 1 lap down in heavy 3 abreast racing. Tunney is hit and spun out by the number 20 of Butcher, and Tunney falls down into the path of the number 56 of Nelson. Nelson's car is damaged and out of it. Lap goes to the lead. As the number 11 of Bruce McMurtry tiptoes to the intersection, is hit by the number 76 of Scott Martin. And Scott Martin, and now Tunney spins a second time in close proximity to Martin as McMurtry tries to back his car out of the intersection. Stock heat race number 2. Cars for stock heat race number 2 to the pit gate. And the backstretch, the number 66 of Bob Canard put the 94 of Fegley in the wall. Now he gets hit and taken out by the number 26 of Morris, and in turn Morris runs head on into the number 48 of Chell, who spun on lap number 1. Place is the number 11 of Connor, and 7th place is Frost to the number 11. Now cars taking each other out. In turn number 3, 2 separate crashes take out 4 cars. The 65 of Higgins and the 39 of Fox took each other out. Then Bordas got out of control to the 97, and he's crashed the number 11 of Connor into Dameron. Actually, Higgins is passing Dameron for position 1 lap down, and Dameron got some assistance from Whiteman after he was spun out. But the winner of this one will be the number 17 of Smith. Second place will be the number 30 into the number 32 of Sloan. They do finally run into each other over in turn number 1. Sloan keeps on going. Lamb's facing the wrong direction. Continues his charge on the number 18 of Perry. Klein in 59 goes to the outside to try to get the last transfer spot away from Catron. Catron's car pushes up the racetrack. Now he comes down on top and wrecks the car of Bussey. That gives free sailing to the number 59 of Pride for the last transfer spot. Bussey will come back onto the racetrack. As we work to lap number 8. Luntz has a big advantage, but that advantage has started to shrink as the 67 of Van Meter and the 99 of Box spin out of the 4th turn. Van Meter pulls away, joined by the number 51 of Norman. Spins in 2 as Martin falls to 2nd place and Deal takes the lead. Curtis spun out there 3 and 4. Now Curtis spins in the 4th turn. I don't know if he got any help. It looked like an unforced error to me. But what is Martin trying to do? He does a slam job on Van Meter after the race is over. Well, at least if you're going to slam somebody off the racetrack. Back. His payback. Watch out, Josini. Whoa, they're still ramming each other back and forth. It's a demolition derby tonight. Oh, by the way, the number 27 of Eddie Deal won the race. Second place was the number 67 of Van Meter at the spot for a moment. And McClure, look at that long, wrecked big-time Bussey in the number 44. Payback is something else. Bussey recovers and runs again. Long's trying to get the transfer spot back. He made the mistake of pulling in front of Bussey. Bussey and Long eye each other warily down the backstretch. Who's going to wreck who next? But as they run each other hard, there's the number 79 of McKinney. As McClure hits the wall, he wrecked Long and ripped his axle up and knocks Long out of the race as we come to yellow with only 2 laps left to go. On Aldrich's green flag. Right, in trouble at the start of the race. The number 29 of John Curtis colliding with the number 87 of Danny Turner. Curtis's right front tire explodes. Turner spins wildly and gets started. And now Turner goes after Curtis and gives him a piece of his mind. Oh! up and attacking Curtis in the infield. Turner is out of the race. And again, our track officials have got to keep the guys apart. Home history has the reserve seats that are available for that 3-hour figure 8 action. All in line as we finish lap number 3 of 25. The number 39 of Amos running in third. Oh, trouble as Herrera rips into the number 20, and he spins as well. The leaders take each other out in turn number 2. Up in Charlie Reed, moving to 4th place in the number 1 is Jack Dawsey Jr. challenging the outside of the 39 of Amos. Charlie Reed puts the ball back up into Dawsey. Almost breaks all the cars. They keep on going into turn number 1 of lap number 19. It's a hot race for 3rd place, but Perry is gradually leaving it behind. Trouble as Smith spins out of the 4th turn, takes 5 cars with him. Frost in 71, the number 44 of Bussey, the 59 of Prime, and the number 96 of Rogers. All of those drivers get restarted. They will all go 1 lap down as Perry takes the lead and puts 2 of those cars between himself and the Van Valkenburg car.
Well, we've got one big celebration going on down here as Brian Perry had a rearview mirror full of contenders, the top 6 finishing under a blanket. Brian becomes the 18th different winner of a this season at the Speedrome.
Figure 8 challenge feature as the number 9 of Leonard Basham spins in the 2nd corner, just now gets restarted. Iser is trying to win his first figure 8 feature in years. 99 of Donnie Harris. In 4th place is the number 56. Oh, trouble as the 36 of Grant hits the number 39 of Amos, spins it out and into the path of the number 41 of Buddy Vertrees. Everybody else keeps on going, but Grant's car looks like it's damaged and out of it, along with the number 39 of Amos, who's out with the laps left to go. Running as hard as he can, right in front of Boyd Butcher. 2.9 seconds back. Jack Dawsey Jr. the intersection almost gets taken out and restarts.
In the General Tire figure 8 talent, your defending national champion with only 1 race to go. Next Wednesday's 1-hour figure 8 endurance race at Anderson Speedway. And Dwayne Lee has put himself in the position that he wants to be, and that is in the national points lead going into the final points event of 1993. National